In a small village, nestled between towering mountains and dense forests, lived a young woman named Amara. From her earliest days, she was filled with an insatiable curiosity about the world beyond the hills and a burning desire to achieve something truly meaningful. While other kids stayed close to home, helping with chores or playing by the river, Amara would wander toward the forest's edge, her mind filled with visions of adventure and challenges waiting just over the horizon. Amara's family was humble. Her parents worked tirelessly just to provide the basics, and they often cautioned her against chasing dreams that seemed too big for a girl from their village. "The world outside is harsh," her mother would say. "Dreams are for those who can afford them." But Amara couldn't silence the quiet, persistent voice inside her that whispered, "There is more for you. You are meant for more." One day, a traveler arrived, sharing tales of a distant valley beyond the mountains. It was a place where life was abundant, where people thrived on courage and purpose, and every single day offered a new chance to grow. Many villagers laughed, dismissing the story as a fantasy. But for Amara, it was different. Her heart raced. She felt the valley calling to her not just as a place, but as a symbol of the life she had been longing for. Determined to find it, Amara prepared for the journey. She packed lightly, some food, water, a journal to record her thoughts, and a small, hand-drawn map from the traveler. Her parents were terrified. "It's dangerous," they warned. "You could get lost." Or worse, Amara hugged them tightly and said with unshakable resolve, "I have to see for myself. If I don't even try, I'll never know what I'm truly capable of." The first few days of her journey were exhilarating. The forests were alive with the sound of songbirds. Sunlight danced through the leaves, and streams sparkled as if they were cheering her on. Amara felt energized, confident, unstoppable. But soon, the path grew difficult. She faced slippery rocks, dense undergrowth, and steep slopes that tested her both physically and mentally. The nights brought a biting cold and eerie sounds that made her shiver. Fear began to creep in. What if I can't find the valley? What if I fail? In that moment of doubt, Amara remembered a lesson from her grandmother. Courage is not the absence of fear, Amara. It is moving forward despite the fear, holding onto those words like a lifeline. She continued, one step at a time. Every obstacle became her teacher. She learned to read the clouds, to predict storms, to follow the sun for direction, and to listen to the whispers of the forest. With every challenge she overcame, she felt herself growing stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Weeks passed. Along the way, Amara met other travelers. Some were heading back home, defeated by hunger, exhaustion, or fear. Others were just wandering aimlessly, lost in the vast wilderness. They warned her of dangers ahead, wild beasts, treacherous cliffs, and raging rivers. Amara listened to their advice, thanked them, and kept moving forward. She was beginning to understand that while guidance is helpful, ultimately, your path is one you must walk by yourself. One morning, she reached a raging river that blocked her way completely. The current was powerful, and the stones were slick with moss. Many would have turned back right there, but Amara closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and began to cross. Every step was a test of her balance, her patience, and her courage. Halfway through, she slipped, her heart pounding in her chest, but her determination held her upright. When she finally reached the other side, her legs trembled, but her spirit soared. The river had tested her, and she had triumphed. The nights were the hardest. Alone under a vast canopy of stars, Amara wrestled with loneliness and fear. Strange noises echoed through the trees. Shadows danced in the moonlight, and powerful storms often woke her, shivering and soaked. Yet, in those dark moments, she wrote in her journal. She poured out her fears, her hopes, and her reflections. And through writing, she discovered a profound truth. The journey is just as much about inner growth as it is about reaching a destination. One particularly violent night, a storm battered her small, makeshift shelter. Rain poured down in sheets, lightning split the sky, and the wind howled, threatening to uproot the trees around her. Huddled under the branches, Exhausted and terrified, she thought, maybe I should just turn back. Maybe I'm not meant for this. But then she remembered the spark that had driven her from her village, that fire inside her that refused to be extinguished. Slowly, she rose to her feet and pressed on through the storm, understanding that every hardship was forging her into someone stronger. Finally, after weeks of relentless travel, she reached the foot of the tallest mountain, the last barrier between her and the valley. The climb was brutal. Jagged rocks, loose soil, and sheer cliffs tested her resolve at every turn. But Amara thought back on all the obstacles she had already overcome, the forests, the rivers, the storms, and the lonely nights. She realized that if she could survive all of that, she could conquer this mountain. Step by step, she ascended. Hours blurred into days. Fatigue was a heavy weight on her shoulders, but her vision of the valley kept her moving. On the final morning, as the sun painted the sky with brilliant gold and pink, she reached the peak, and there, stretched out below her, was the valley more breathtaking than she had ever imagined. Rivers glimmered like silver threads, forests shimmered in the morning light, and small villages dotted the landscape, alive with people thriving in harmony and purpose. Amara stood there, breathing heavily, completely overwhelmed with emotion. She had made it. But in that moment, she realized that the true victory wasn't the valley itself. It was the courage, the perseverance, and the strength she had discovered within herself along the way. She descended into the valley and was welcomed with open arms. The people there shared their knowledge, their skills, and their stories, teaching her that success isn't measured just by what you achieve, but by the person you become in the process. Amara worked, learned, and grew, but the most valuable lesson always remained the one she learned on her journey. It had forged her into someone capable of greatness. Years later, Amara returned to her village. She didn't come to boast about the valley, but to share what she had learned. She spoke to the children and the adults, and her message was simple: life will test you. Fear, doubt, and failure are inevitable. But the greatest failure is to stop moving forward. Every challenge is an opportunity to discover who you truly are. She told her stories of courage, perseverance, and growth, inspiring generations to follow their own dreams, no matter the obstacles. The village began to thrive with a renewed sense of hope and purpose. Amara's story spread far and wide, a powerful reminder that the greatest treasures in life aren't material things. They are the courage, resilience, self-belief, and the unwavering fire within. Every single one of us has our own unseen horizon, a challenge that seems impossible, a fear that must be faced. The question ain't whether challenges exist, but whether you have the courage to take that first step, to persevere when things get tough, and to discover the incredible strength that is already inside you. Because the most powerful treasure in this life ain't wealth or recognition, it's the courage to rise, the resilience to persist, and the unwavering belief in yourself. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content to inspire your journey.